My name is Jada White. I'm with the Fox 5 digital team. And right now we're going to be talking to Miss Nayana Ferguson. She is an African American businesswoman, but the very first Black woman in particular to own and run a tequila brand called Anteel Tequila. Y'all, she is history in the making. She is booked. She is busy. She has a story to tell. And I'm just super excited that I get to interview her today. Miss Nayana, thank you so much for being here with me. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much for having me.
Yes, yes, yes. So to start, as I mentioned in your intro, like I said, you're the first, right? Your history in the making. Tell me, how does it feel, to be able to take upon this role? Is there a sense of pressure that comes along with it, or are you just going along for the ride?
Well, I do find it rewarding, but I also find it inspiring in the fact that people have inspired me, but hopefully that I'm inspiring others. When we launched in 2018, I became the first African American woman to own and lead a tequila brand, and it's a multi-award winning tequila brand. There are a couple of other African American women in the space now, so I hope that I had something to do with that. So it is a rewarding thing for me to be considered a pioneer in the industry of tequila. So it's awesome.
There we go. Now tell me, how did Anteel Tequila come about? And also, where does your love for tequila come from?
Oh, so many things, but it came from me and my husband. We were dating on a surprise trip to the Dominican in 2016 for his birthday. We weren't married yet, and he upped the surprise by proposing. So we started talking about life and what we were going to do. And one night we were at the restaurant celebrating, and we saw these hummingbirds. And important to the story, that became our logo for our tequila. Now, both him and I were in the corporate world for 20 plus years, and you start trying to look at other things that you're going to do in life. And I asked him, I said, if you could do anything, what would you do? And he said, I would own a tequila company, but we can't do that. And I was like, why not? And so I went to prove him wrong. So a couple days later, I actually found the distillery that we work with now to this day. And about 3 months, I had samples in hand. We had a big sample party with our friends to try it. My husband was still a little skeptical, and I was like, "We can do this." He was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I'm going to get a whole plan together, and we're going to get this done." My background is I was a financial analyst in the automotive field, so I have good finance experience. So I created a budget. And he said, "You really think we can make this work?" I was like, "Absolutely." I said, "But I will get this tequila made and I will get it here. You have to sell it." So that's kind of what our roles are now, even now, almost 6 years later, that we are continuing to build this brand. But that's the short story on how the tequila started.
Oh, I love it. I love that it stems
Yeah.
with your romance. I'm going to get into your family a little bit later. So I love how that came about. That's
Yeah.
love.
I went to prove him wrong. And he's always like, he will tell the story now. He's like, how can you say no to a woman who beat pancreatic cancer, breast cancer? I live with a disease called neutropenia. So he's like, how can I tell you no?
Seriously. And I was going to ask you, I was like, how have those experiences in particular, because like you just said, you're a 12-year breast cancer survivor and an 18-year pancreatic cancer survivor. How do you think that experience in particular has really just fueled your spirit to be such a go-getter, to tell your husband, what do you mean we can't do it? We can do it. We can do anything.
Do anything. I believe it just continued to have me have a positive mindset. I don't have that mindset. It's like, oh, woe is me, this is happening and stuff like that, and get down in despair about it. I'm like, okay, so how can we resolve this issue? In a big story with my pancreatic cancer challenge or experience. I told them, I was like, okay, can we do this with some laser or something like that? And they were looking at me like, no, because I was like, we're gonna get this done, and they're like, hold on, this is a major, operation. But I think it just both of those experiences, plus other experiences in my life, have taught me to have faith in myself and also to keep a positive mindset on anything that I put my mind to, because truly anything that I've went after, I've gotten. And it's more so because of that positive mindset, because I have a intense faith in myself and what I can do. So those are definitely some just virtues that I've had and that just continue to help me with those challenges.
Oh yeah, and I can tell that because Anteel Tequila like you said, it's award winning. It has at least, probably over by now, 115 awards. It was also inducted into Pronghorn's portfolio of Black owned spirit brands. Tell me about this. Like, what is it that's making this tequila taste so good? And give the viewers that maybe haven't tried it yet. I mean, I feel like I don't see how they're not already convinced, but in case they're
I
not,
know.
what makes it so good and different?
Well, we haven't been on the award track as much this year, but we're at 117 awards. So all of our expressions, we have five. Our newest expression was Viejo, which came out in December of 2023. It has won its first couple of awards now. So all of our expressions are multi-award winning, but I believe it's because the story is a lot of what people, hear or they see. So they want to find out more about the brand. But then at events or at tastings or things like that, people they try our coconut lime. So we have the world's only coconut lime blanco tequila. And so we like to say that is our gateway. That is to get people back to drinking tequila and finding more about what a premium tequila is, because everybody has the story about spring break 1982, 75, 91, and they're like, I don't mess with tequila. And we're like, yeah, but let's bring you back. Let's give you some information. Let's educate you a little bit more about tequila. So I truly believe it's the story. It is the product. Our consumers tell us that we have amazing products, and that even I have some people like, I don't drink tequila, but I drink your tequila, or I don't drink something coconut, but I drink yours because yours is amazing. But I also feel in my education, I do teach about not having no sugar. So our tequila has no added sugars or sweeteners. All tequilas are gluten free. A lot of people don't know that because they are made from a plant. But I think it's that education as well behind the story, but also behind the taste. We've won so many awards for all of our expressions that somebody likes them, So, and we're in going on 20 states now. So it's a lot of people that are really now noticing us. We have a great big following, but even more people are becoming to know Anteel Tequila now.
Absolutely. And I mean, I can just tell that I'm glad that you spoke about the no sugar and the gluten free, because I was going to ask you about that, like with your health experiences in the past. I was reading about you. I was learning that, you're very, conscious about what it is that you're putting into your body. And so that was the same with this tequila brand as well. So, in going into that, how are you guys able to make those decisions? Like maybe for our viewers who aren't super familiar with the process of making tequila, how did you
Mhm.
guys go about being effective in being health conscious with your drinks?
Well, because I'm a pancreatic cancer survivor as well, I'm pre-diabetic. So I need to be careful about the sugar intake, almost eating like I'm diabetic. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't give advice about it, but I get education on what helps for me, but also what helps in the process of tequila. So with tequila and its distillation and fermentation, and again, because it is made from a plant, it is naturally gluten free. And I can't say zero, but I can say very, 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 very low in sugar and calories and carbs and calories as well. And so as people are getting older, you're trying to look at what you're putting into your body. You're being more health conscious, and we do see that consumers are now educating themselves more on spirits and what they're drinking and things like that. And so it's about educating people that tequila is actually one of the, I guess, better spirits you can drink. Of course, if you don't laden it down with sugar, the sugar, people really don't understand that the sugar is what gives you those headaches, what gives you, your stomach aches and all of those things that happen. That's the sugar. It's not necessarily the spirit, it's the sugar. But if a spirit adds sugar to it, then that increases your chance of, getting those headaches and things like that. But with tequila, that is not in there initially. So I educate people like, yeah, I understand that the spring break story, but what were you drinking the whole day? Like you were drinking Bahama Mamas, garbage juice, jungle juice, all this stuff, mixing everything, having all the sugar, and then you topped it off with a tequila that may not have been purely tequila. It might have been mixtos. So a lot of people don't know that some brands there are mixtos out there that are half sugar and half tequila. So they're cheaper. And see, that's what you can afford in college. So that's why people have those experiences. So it's just about educating people more on the properties of tequila and how it can affect your body, and but also teach them about sugar, truly.
No, seriously, I'm like, our viewers, they're having a whole educational experience right now. They are getting in the know. I know I'm in college right now. So it's like
Mhm.
I can only imagine what it is that these kids drink. Okay, I know I'm one of the kids.
Oh, when I was in college, believe me, I remember I'm the day of Boone's Farm and Alizé or something back in the day. We used to drink that, because it was cheap,
Yeah.
but it had a lot of sugar in it. So those are things that, as you get older, you need to stay a little bit away from.
Yes, Miss Nayana. Now, I want to touch back on your family really briefly.
Mhm.
Obviously, you run the business with your husband. Y'all also have children. So I'm curious to know how is running that business together, with that family dynamic, but also how is it maintaining the work-life balance in your home as well? Just for the viewers who are also interested in entrepreneurship, also interested in, owning their own business and maybe even bringing family along with them.
Mhm. It's always a challenge, I think, with everybody with work life and work life balance, and even more so for entrepreneurs because our business doesn't shut off. We are doing this 24/7. A lot of the times, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of bandwidth. So you really have to make it a priority to self care. To make sure you're taking, even if it's just an hour or even a day or something like that, whatever you have time for, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, but also giving that time to your family. We have a 16-year-old at home. She's learning to drive now and all of those things. So, she's in school and she goes to the CAP School of Art. So she has a lot of plays and things like that. So it's just juggling like three schedules in our household. But I do feel her watching us with this business, and our tequila is not our only business, but we have several. But she watches us what we're doing, giving her advice on things, telling her things that we're doing so she can start understanding how business runs. And she just recently got hired as our admin for administrative tasks at 16. So she is now learning like Excel and things like that because, hey, she can have these skill sets when she gets even older if she's going to have her own business and things like that. So it's about teaching, but that work life balance, it is something that you have to prioritize and you actually have to make time to make time for yourself.
Oh, for sure. Now, since you brought up your daughter, now I have a question. Do you think that this might turn into like a family business? I don't want to, just put that on her, but is that something that kind of runs through you and your husband's brain?
Really, because she is more of a creative. My daughter is more, she's a writer and she acts as well, but her passion is writing. So she actually has a book that she has written. She's written several, but we are self publishing a book for her this year. And she has other creative talents that we are helping her form a business with. So I don't necessarily see her going into the family business in that manner, but she is learning some things for any business, for her to run her own business in the future if she chooses to, that she will be able to have and look back on and like, hey, my parents were doing this, and just having that mindset to be able to resolve any challenges that she comes up with.
Oh yeah, I like this. The whole family talented. That's what
Yes.
I'm talking about. That's what we want to hear and what we want to see. Now, really quickly, I want to take a little jump here. I learned that you are a national advocate of PanCan. I just thought that was
Yes.
something that was really important to talk about. Can you describe to our viewers what is PanCan? What does it mean to you? And how is it that you actually advocate for it?
So when I just moved to Atlanta a couple years ago. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I was a volunteer with the Detroit affiliate at PanCan. And so through that, the national association, the Pancreatic Cancer Network, which is what PanCan stands for, they got wind of my story and things of that nature. So I was able to speak in front of Congress virtually in 2021 regarding pancreatic cancer awareness. The Pancreatic Cancer Network also put me in a commercial, a nationwide commercial regarding my story as well. They also put me in a campaign mailer about my story, being a pancreatic cancer survivor, but also starting our tequila brand. And it's very important to me because even though I am both a pancreatic cancer survivor and a breast cancer survivor, breast cancer gets a lot of awareness, but pancreatic cancer does not. Especially in our brown and black communities, we do not have a lot of that awareness, or even a lot of people who know stories of someone who survived. So I feel like it's my duty and it's my hope to be able to tell my story to people, give them some hope, give them some support, give them awareness, and let them know that there are resources out there for our communities to be able to find out more information, support if they have a family member that's going through pancreatic cancer. So I take it upon myself, like I am the advocate, like, hey, I will talk at any event you need me at. If I can tell my story, then I do, because I feel like, and I have had a couple people come up to me after speaking somewhere, and they're like, you know what, you gave me so much hope about what my family member is going through. I have a mentee. His mother actually passed from pancreatic cancer, and he said that I remind him of her. And so I'm like, you're gonna be my son forever then, because she's not here, but I am, and I am involved in his life in many ways, just to make sure that I am there. But it's a rewarding thing for me. It really is. I don't disparage anybody with that, but it's like it's a hurt thing for me. So, and a lot of times when I tell my story, I tear up with it because it brings just a lot of those memories back. But I hope, in my speaking and in me being part of the Pancreatic Cancer Network, that I'm giving hope and awareness to those who may feel that they don't have that.
Absolutely. See, this is what I'm telling you. Our viewers today, they've been motivated. They've
I hope
got
so.
story. Our mouths are watering for some tequila. I mean, you
I
just
hope so.
educating us. I mean, this is probably this is great. Sincerely.
Awesome.
I mean, I love your story. I love that, you're able to join us and just, do what it is and have the impact that you have. Speaking of your impact, we actually have, this is completely like a different topic, but we have a guest who came here earlier today for our pet of the day with Good Day Atlanta. And I said, "Oh, I'm getting ready for an interview. Her name's, Nayana Ferguson." And they were like, "That sounds familiar." And I was like, "Yeah, she co-owns Anteel Tequila." And they were like, "Wait a minute." And they said that you came to a country club, maybe like in the course of the last year. And they said they were like trying some of your shots of tequila, that they got to speak with you. And they kept telling me how sweet you were and how amazing
Oh,
you were. And so just to talk to you now, I'm like, shoot, they already told me I was in for a good interview. But I see
aw.
your spirit and your energy, it radiates. So in case anybody hasn't told you that before, I'm sure they have, because come on, how could they not look at you? But I'm telling you that now, like your energy is being felt here at Fox 5. So I just want to say thank you, for being so willing to speak, and we're so happy to have you. But the last question that I have for you, unless you want to add anything on at the end, but with your beautiful spirit, I can only imagine what's to come. So tell me, what is ahead, either for Anteel Tequila, if you have something else coming up, where can our viewers expect to hear from you or see you coming up soon or in the future? Any big goals, plans, dreams? Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, of course, we are continuing our world domination, as we say, with our tequila brand. As I said, we are launching into some other states, so that will bring us up to 20 states that we're in, which is a big feat for a small company. Not a company that did not start off with millions, like some brands have. Um, but we probably will come out with another product to finish our line out. We look forward to that. We look forward to winning some more awards. But a lot of people don't know, and I think they're starting to see. But I am actually a inspirational speaker, so I am invited to many different places to speak on entrepreneurship, on having faith in yourself, and things like that. So I actually have an event coming up in September, and I will be at Harvard. There is a Black Alumni Conference there. So I will be there speaking about entrepreneurship and also conducting a tequila tasting. So I'm excited about that. I have another speaking engagement coming up as well. I had one in April that I did about having faith in yourself, moving forward with your dreams and your passions. And I find that it is so rewarding to be able to do that, to tell my story, not only about the tequila, but pancreatic cancer, about my journey as of being an entrepreneur, of being someone who is in the world and trying to help give hope, motivate people to follow their passions and dreams. So those are just some things that we're continuing to build on. And I look forward to, just more people getting to know the story. And yeah, thank you so much about what you said about, especially that person who met me. I am who you see. This is me at all times. So when people meet me, they're like, yeah, she's the exact same person that I met at the event or whatever, because this is me. I don't change, I am who I am. And I just hope that I'm giving good to the world, that I'm motivating and I'm inspiring, that I'm giving somebody that says, I can't do it, but then they see the story and they're like, you know what, she did. She started something from the ground, nothing, didn't really know about it, but started it ground up and made it into a nationally recognized multi-award winning brand. If I can do it, you can too. So those are some things that I really hope goes to you, and I really hope that I'm doing with anyone that I meet.
Absolutely. And you are. I'll tell you that already. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for joining me, Miss Ferguson. Congratulations to you and your family, all the success and all the success that is still to come. I'm sure there's just going to be more awards after awards coming up. So I'm just super excited for you and your family. And once again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you so